is up, Chalkcast? Today we're doing chalk number 39. We're going to be going over the Twitter beef that was started by an anonymous source on Twitter. We're going to be doing the recap of this crazy, baffling regional, and we're joined today by myself, your host, Rise, Pizzo, as called by Turbo Pulser's teammate, Joyo, Johnny Boy, and CJ. Let me get a round of applause for those guys.
No, can I just say though, that was a very professionally timed intro. Can we get a 1 in chat if that was,
thanks,
you know,
guys,
if the first word from Rise came through on the mic there, that's incredible. Because most, new hosts on any show, what they do is they wait for the producer to say 3, 2, 1, and then they wait another second and then they start talking. But he started talking on 1 because he knows that's when the mic on mute is coming.
Rizzo usually stuffs it up. So
yeah,
that's phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
unbelievable if that's come out clean.
If I didn't mention in that, that patrons list in the bottom right needs to be getting. We need to get that going, guys. Come on,
Joe.
Everyone, if you got $5 to be watching this stream, you got $5 to get the Patreon.
Well, you might not be down the bottom though. That's the problem with that one.
That's a little bit more expensive than $5 to be at the bottom. That one we expected to have absolutely no one buying. We're going to be completely honest with you. We ran out of ideas for what to do for Patreon bonus content. We're like, let's just make another option and they can have their name on the screen. And Joe is just dominating that section. He's just absolutely
Joe just took over. Yep. Joe's still the only one soloing that.
Shout out, Joe likes things. Absolute large man, big man, everything in between. Joe is the king.
He's supporting
up yourself.
Yay. Let's talk about some drama, huh, fellas? What the hell happened on Twitter? Somebody give me a recap.
So okay, EU Day 1 happened, and I think what happened is EU saw the Yan versus Money drama, which was a little bit of Sosa in there as well, and they thought, that's not enough, that's pathetic, we could do better than that. So, Rise, you actually explained this in one of your post-match interviews.
Yeah.
You had a bookmarked tweet
from
when you were removed from Oxygen / when you left Oxygen. Can you explain to everybody how they announced your departure?
So basically, I joined BDS. I don't know who runs the Oxygen social media, but the way they announced it was they announced Ixo and Snasky, and then in the replies they said, "By the way, this guy's gone." And look, I know the situation, the way I left was soon, it wasn't a long time I was there. It's not like I was a servant to the club, a loyal servant. But I don't know. It's just a bit. It's just left a bad taste,
Did you feel like an afterthought? Maybe they're like, "Oh, and whoops."
No, it just felt like, okay, he's left us, so we'll get the last kind of word in type thing. That's the way I saw it. It was like we'll have the last laugh, which fair enough. But if you know me, I've got to have the last laugh. So when I'm sitting there at 2 open the series, I'm like, all right, this shit's in my bookmarks. One more game, and it's there. It's done. It's gone. And actually, guys, it was Extra that made me tweet it. I was there at the boot camp, and I was like, I had it on my monitor, and I was like, should I tweet it? And Extra goes, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Oh my, he's carrying.
There's
no in his character.
There's no way you just threw him under the bus.
It's all his fault.
You said, should I tweet this?
No, but also
I had it literally typed out on my monitor.
He's kind of throwing him under the bus.
I was hovering over the tweet button. I was like,
you replaced this guy, and then now you're blaming him for.
No, but I don't see it that way. This is kind of throwing him under the bus, but also giving him a ton of credit. Way to go, Extra. What a genius. He has completely sabotaged the entire region from the subs bench. That's incredible.
All for his return.
Yeah. I love that. Joel, what are your thoughts? When you saw that tweet from Rise, he basically took the Oxygen. Rise is no longer a part of our organization. We wish him the best. Change the words. Oxygen are no longer a part of our RLCS Regional 1. Wish them the best and all that. What did you think, Joyo, when you spotted this on the timeline?
I can't lie. I don't really care. I mean, I've known Finley for ages, and I mean, this is just something that I'm not surprised by, and it's true. It's true.
Fair
I'm not
enough,
surprised
yeah.
by it. Yeah, I'm not surprised by it. Like I didn't
I
really
wasn't
care.
surprised either.
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's just another tweet. I didn't know what it would cause, but yeah, no. At the moment, I didn't really care.
So you
It was
didn't
a funny
predict
tweet.
the outburst, is what you mean?
No, definitely not. And then everything just started snowballing after that, and that's when I was like, what is going on? But the first tweet, I was just like, oh, fair enough. Yeah, funny tweet.
Yeah. So I think
But like no
Joria's
one does
replied.
that. You know what I mean? Like Rise, like people meme it and sort of be subtle about it, like, oh GG's, you know, people post pictures of Monsters Inc. characters. But no one like if Rise to just, you know, straight up just and like in a respectful manner as well, rewording his own tweet that got put in him. I don't know. I think that that's a first of its kind, Rise, the way you did it. It's so funny.
Thanks,
I
man.
thought it was very funny.
I thought it was
liked
pretty
it.
clever.
I thought it was warranted as well because I think you have every right to feel slighted by Oxygen in your departure. You didn't get like a Rise benched, graphic like
Like
Godsmilla
Godsmilla.
did with Singularity. Like you probably felt hard done by there. So I thought it was fair enough. It wasn't directed at the players, at least from what I read. But Jory is a player for Oxygen. I think also understandably misunderstood and thought that you were, having a shot at them, which it didn't seem like you were. But I could
I
see
wasn't.
why after a loss he would think that. I think it's an understandable
Yeah.
misunderstanding on his part. But in his reply, he also then kind of said some things that you can't really take back. I can't remember, what is it that he said? He said that you, Rise, were talking to other teams at the major or something,
Before major.
which you disagreed with. I can't remember. What do you remember what you said exactly that you didn't?
That was the main thing that like annoyed me because that wasn't true.
That
which
wasn't
I
a
didn't say in
thing.
my reply. The first time anyone contacted me was the Sunday of San Diego. That was the first time I spoke to any of the team.
But you also did leak which team that was. So
Yeah,
the leaks
well,
they started coming. Like
but the
you
thing
just
is,
threw
like,
liquid in there. Just like snuck it in there, and
not really snuck
it's
it
on the
in. Like, it
timeline.
was pretty common knowledge. Like it was made pretty obvious at the time. Like everyone kind of knew anyway. Like if it was like a complete secret, then I wouldn't have said it. Like there's a lot of stuff that like has happened or stuff that could have happened. Like not even just with me or with like my teammates that like has never come to light just because people don't know about it and they feel like no need to share. But like people already knew, so I didn't feel like that. What's it called? Bothered sharing it.
Yeah. And then what was the other continuation from this week? We've got other tweets we have to cover, or other beefs we have to cover, but what were the other continuations from your tweet? So Atto then, I think, interjected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember who he replied. I think he replied to your tweet. Atto replying to Rye's tweet about Oxygen, saying that they should have tried harder in scrims. I'm paraphrasing here, but Atto kind of just like came out of nowhere, joined in the conversation to be like, yeah, let's all punch Oxygen while they're down, and then everybody just started roasting Atto. Like, what are you talking about when it comes to trolling scrims? You guys are the worst. So, yeah, what's the situation there? Joyo and Rise, you probably both have a little insider knowledge on this. Is there something to this? Are Team Liquid trolling scrims?
I'd like to because I
Here we go.
responded with my tweet about them leaving 40 minutes early on RCS day. Oh no, not on RCS day. The day before RCS.
40 minutes early. Wait.
Mm-hmm. 2 games.
They
and then
scrimmed for
left.
20 minutes.
Yeah, so
A good
let me
sesh.
give you a rundown of the story, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't take it personally. I mean, I've spoke to the Liquid members. I'm fine with it now. I was a bit hurt at the time. I was a bit tilted, but this is my personal stories, my POV. The week leading to RCS Regional 3 of winter last split, every single scrim of the entire week we had, at least one of them got cancelled. So we had literally no practice the whole week. And then it was the final day before, and we had Oxygen, which was Rise, Archie, Yoris at the time, and then Liquid. And we were like, finally, reliable teams. We're not going to get cancelled on for the first time this week. We've had no practice. It's a regional we need to do good in to make the major. We scrim Oxygen. We got 7-0'd, I think, but it's all good. Then we scrimmed Liquid. We played 2 games and we actually won both the games. And we were like finally not playing bad. And we like seemed to get into like, the flow of it. And then a Chronic left. And I was like, oh, he's changing his car. Chronic likes to change his car. And then Oski left. And then Atto left. And I was confused. I thought they were all just changing their car. And then they all left the party as well. And I had to message Oski like, what is going on? And then after, like, even though I didn't know about it, like, they didn't say anything. They just insta left. And after 2 games, they were like, "Oh, sorry. From our POV, you guys are too like you're too annoying to play against. Like, you guys are too AIDS." We are. Yeah, that's what Oski said, and you have to see it from our POV. And yeah, and I was like, what do you mean? And then I told him to explain, and he was like, no, to see it from our POV. And I was like, no, you have to respect us. On the day of RCS, we need to scrim. It's not fair. You can't organize a scrim and then just leave. And then Oscar was like, no, you have to see it from our POV. You guys aren't playing like how you would in a tournament. It's not. I'm thinking about myself. But I have the replays, and I've shown these replays to at least like 3 other pros I know, including Rise.
I've seen these replays, by the way.
These replays are completely normal Rocket League. Liquid were absolutely atrocious. They just threw. They just were playing bad. And I'm not even saying that they beat us in the regional the day later. So good on them, I don't mind. But they literally just didn't play good on that one day of scrims, and they got tilted and just left. And then they said that we were playing too different to how we would in tournaments, and we were pre-jumping. But I've shown these replays to many people to see why, Rise included. Rise will agree, these are the most like normal games of Rocket League of all time. And it was just because they lost and like made a few mistakes and they just left. And then Oski claims that it's not because of that and it's because of how we played. But I have like went to many different people to try to figure out if they agree. And the only people who thought that was true was Liquid themselves. And I mean, as you can see from the other responses, Liquid have a bit of a history of being the least reliable scrim team out of the top of EU. They always seem to have a tendency to troll or give up or leave early. They just always do it.
Yeah, but don't forget that Vatera left because we troll scrims, bro. So
EU's a
push
mess.
Push now, scrim troller Joyo.
Yeah, my bad.
Wait, so hold on. Rise, can you corroborate Joya's story here? He's mentioned that you've seen the replays. What's your verdict on the quality of the games?
Honestly, all I remember was the game Joyo showed me was on like Forbidden Temple. So it was like the second game, like the last game before they left. And I think I saw like 1 pre-jump off the ceiling or something. And I don't know. It didn't look like a ridiculous scrim troll game to me.
I would also like to add, because I forgot it, and I can probably find this. In that game, Atto went for an edge ball, and Oski pre-jumped him for no reason, and then did a triple flip reset off his pass backwards near his own net for no reason.
Right.
It
we
doesn't
need
make
to see
sense.
these replays, Joy. We need this needs to be a video. This has to be a stream. The people want to see the evidence. You know, we've heard the opening statement. Now we need to see the evidence in full before we can make our final decision. The jury of the Rocket League community, the Chalkcast listeners. But I mean, also because it would be really good content. But you know, off the top of my head, I do believe you. Because this sounds very, very possible in the Rocket League Pro scene.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say it's something that's like not even uncommon. Like when me, Cap, and Turbo were doing our RLCS run, anytime we got beaten scrims, we would jokingly say, "Oh, these guys are gonna show up on game day." Yeah, so every day, every game we played, these guys aren't gonna show up on game day, even on game day. Oh, these guys are gonna play this good on game day. You know, we say that because it's actually like,
statement.
Yeah, these guys aren't gonna do this in tourney. They're not gonna play like this because like so many teams actually unironically say that. So it's not like out of the ordinary to hear that it's actually, you know, a thing, or you know, it's like the 100th time I've heard it by now.
I remember
it's a coping mechanism though, isn't it? That sort of stuff.
It is. When you're getting shit on, they're not going to do this in tournament. I remember watching an SSG comms video, and it was against Uriza, and Rettles was like, "We've played against a good G2, the one in scrims, and now we just need to play this shit version."
Scrim G2 is another beast. Yeah, these guys aren't gonna do this in scrims, never, or on game day.
I'm not gonna lie, you guys have nothing on Scrim PSG Tundra, and every
No.
previous
When they were German
iteration.
amigos.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my god.
yeah.
With Rizex. Oh, Rizex, bro. The great.
Every
greatest
iteration
player.
of the German-speaking team that are at the top of EU, every iteration of that team is the best Scrim team that I've ever played against.
Yeah.
Really?
We like on
Mhm.
Moist, old Moist. We would play German amigos and literally just lose 7-0 every time, and that was just raps. There was nothing we could do. It was literally just prime.
Mhm.
It was impossible to win. Rizex, bro. I don't know if this is like a known story, but when I first started teaming with Tadpole, like before I joined. Wait, no, it was when I joined Triple Trouble, um, and then Bluey went straight to Galaxy Racer when I joined. We picked up Rizex, and because this guy in tryouts was such a beast, and we kicked him after one regional because we went into the regional and this guy just didn't go for the ball, so we kicked him after one regional.
That's so
Like,
peak.
that's
You
so
didn't
peak,
think to
innit?
tell him, like,
That's
bro,
so peak.
And he just
Bro,
got kicked
just
like
go for
3
the
times
ball,
before
bro.
that.
Yeah. And then he was making
Oh
tweets
my
like, I get
days.
kicked every time.
No.
But nah,
But like, why
Rizex is
didn't
a
you
G.
just tell him to go for the ball chase, dude? Be a Scrim Rizex.
Because they can't be taught, bro. Things like that can't be
Oh,
taught.
for
That's
sake.
the unteachables.
Ball chasing, surely ball chasing can be taught. You have all the things in
Can't,
Rocket League
bro,
Pro
can't.
Play. Surely,
He was a
if
different
there's
player,
one
bro.
thing, oh my goodness. So nobody, you need to like get CJ in to spectate these scrims. He loves his scrim actors. He never
Let me
stops
tell
talking
ya.
about them.
Let me tell you about Magic Bear. Now, Magic Bear's starting to do it on game day, though. People are starting to see what I've been talking about. Chat top one, if you agree. You've seen it some North American regionals where Magic Bear's really started to peak. You've seen what he's done in scrims. Now, imagine him doing that every single second of every game. All right? That's Scrim Magic Bear. And that's probably
So
half
that's
the EU Rocket League team, what we've heard as well.
So that's Scrim Rizex, Skrizix.
Skrizix.
He's different,
I mean-
different gravy.
To be fair, CJ, I remember in the Sweden major when you guys made it and you scrimmed us.
So,
Yeah,
let me
Chaser-
tell you about Scrims
Yeah.
Joyo.
Joyo. Yeah.
Let me tell you
Full
about
scrims
Queso
me,
Scrims
yeah.
Joyo. When this team was an absolute nobody, no one knew who these guys
Ninth
even
EU.
were. Just a terrible team, and they
Oh,
absolutely
come on.
dominated us. And then they got second at the major. So there you go. I think I might have started the resurgence. Of this
You
team,
were
or the
you were at
surgence.
day 0, CJ, because you hyped them up before they from scrims, and then I like to claim that I was a day 1, predicting them to win the regional in winter, regional 1.
Yes, you were.
Uh,
I
Johnny,
think it
I'm
was
not
you
gonna
were
lie.
day- you
There's
were
not
day
been a
0.
single day where you said anything about me. I think you've always doubted me every single time. I'm
Joel,
not
but
taking this. I'm not
We
taking this.
unanimously, the EU pre-show, you can go back and watch it. It's on the Rocket League YouTube channel. We predicted you guys to win the major against all odds.
No,
We
you're a day
perfected the
infinity for me
bracket.
because you
I
never
think
say
we
anything good
perfected
about
the
me.
bracket.
There's a reason for that, mate. You shit.
I had to counterbalance
hi, bro.
CJ. CJ comes into every ranking stream and has Joy on number 1. I had to
I'm
balance
gonna
it
leave
out.
the podcast, bro. What's going?
You're
Look,
already waving in the picture.
I'm,
Halfway gone.
I'm telling. I was a Joyo. I see Joe was the best player
You're
I've
a
ever
day
seen
0.
at that point in scrims. That is
Yeah,
a day 0.
CJ's a true supporter.
But I wouldn't say a supporter. I just saw what I saw. You were hitting triple flip resets in scrims like on command. So I had to buy in. I was all for it. I should have bought some stocks.
Joyo, I did put you, actually I put you both in my top 10 duos of all time.
Yeah, and we weren't number
recently.
1. So what's your explanation?
You were the best out of the have played together for 5 years teams. I had you best of the rest. Best of the recent teams.
I guess I'll
understandable.
accept that. I guess I'll accept.
And you only played together for like, how long? 10 months?
A year.
Oh, yeah, until Finley wanted
No,
to
like-
join a team that he left.
Okay,
straight
actually,
away after.
maybe you played together for a year, but
We all know why that was, mate. Don't get started on that.
you were
situation.
getting results for less than a year. They did a lot in like a 10-month period. But yeah, you teamed together for a year, I guess.
Me and
I
Samson
did
are
say in
pushing
that
to make
video
the
as well
honourable
that I
mentions.
hope in the future we get a Rise and Joyo teaming again, which, based on Rise's rapid movement, could be very soon. We never
Not
know.
gonna happen.
Have you? What do you mean not gonna happen? If you like,
I'm not being this.
blacklisted him?
I'm not being this guy's bitch, bro. He's not gonna leave and enjoy me, and then leave when he thinks there's a better opportunity again. It's not happening.
The DMs prove otherwise.
The DMs.
Yesterday, 10:43. Please, bro, come back.
Why are you spreading misinformation? Why are you spreading misinformation on the internet, bro?
Please, bro.
Even
What is it,
bro?
He even
Come back,
timestamped it.
bro.
This isn't even true. This is just a
Hey,
lie.
bro, it is. It's true. Promise.
Let's
It's
talk
true.
about your messages to me, bro. I was embarrassed to say that I wanted to come back. That image, bro. You love that image, bro.
For the Messi, I was embarrassed to say I wanted to come back.
So, Joyo,
please keep together.
let's can we dive into the cannon a little bit? Talks about the pickup. What's happening? Why was the cannon picked up? Because we haven't really, dove into it a little bit with you.
What do you
What's the
guys know
story?
about Cannon? He is him, bro. Cannon he's that guy, bro. I don't even know what to say. Like, just watch him play and you'll see. Like, there's just
I
something
did
about
this.
him.
I
Joyo,
watched him
way-
flail about for 40 minutes.
We don't speak
on
about that
Saturday
series.
night. Saturday
Yeah,
evening.
we don't.
Talk about that. If
I-
you're not going to elaborate on the cannon, can we hear about that series then? What happened in the Liquid series?
No, wait, one more thing about the cannon. I do have to ask.
Okay.
I saw him. I swear I saw him. I can't have been the only one that saw him warming up his screaming during the pregame.
saw
I
that.
swear when
I
they were
saw
on the cameras, showing the
Yeah,
cameras
I
on the
saw that
players.
as
I saw
well.
him going, "Come on!" As he scored a banger in free play, probably, or is he warming up, Joyo? What's going on?
He's an absolute. He's just a wild card. I don't know. He's. You don't really know what's gonna happen on the day. He just
He's
comes out and he
loose.
screams. Yeah, he's a cannon. That's why he's called the
He's-
cannon.
he's
He explodes, bro. I don't know.
So before the match, he just screams. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this again. Like,
I mean, this guy brings some other energy. I don't know. I really like teaming with him. I don't know. I'm friends with him in real life. I mean, we live 30 minutes apart.
Oh
It
wow!
just felt like the right thing to do. I mean, me and Cash have been quite close, especially in the past year, because I moved house quite close to him. We got quite close, and when opportunity arose, it just felt like the right thing to do. I'm really happy with him, and I think that we've shown promise, even if it didn't go how we wanted it to, especially when we were 3-0 up against Liquid. But I don't think it's a bad sign. I think it's better than last split, and I mean, we did lose to Liquid, who started playing really good after they went 3-0 down to us. Atto started playing amazing, and then a really good BDS that also destroyed Carmine. Just got a bit ahead of themselves against Liquid. I don't know. I think we had some pretty tough series at that point, and we didn't do awful.
It was
Yeah.
called by many the best top 4 in Rocket League history that we've ever seen in any regional. So to finish 5th, right behind the best top 4
And
ever,
we nearly
is
got
pretty
third.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Very
you
nearly
got
top
top
3. Very nearly.
Can I just, Johnny, you're kind of segueing. I just want to bring it back for a second.
Mhm.
What was the reason for I don't think you've been asked this, but the Astral move?
I mean, I don't want to talk about specifics, but I mean, I don't
can.
know. No. I don't think I should talk about the specifics, but I don't know. There was after the split that we played, we really underperformed. I don't know. We didn't do our best, and there was something that needed to be changed. And I don't know, when some people came available, it just seemed like the right thing to do. I mean, I think everyone can sit and admit how talented Astral is at the game, but I think there's only a few systems and teams that he works in because of that talent and that raw talent he has. I think he only works in a few certain systems, and I don't think the one we were in was the right one for him. And I don't know, we didn't see eye to eye all the time. I don't know, it was a weird one. I mean, I think Astral's one of the best players on the talent scale that I'll ever see or ever play with, but it just didn't seem like it worked and worked well. I don't know.
What about Juicy
PRing
then?
right now, but
No, what about Juicy? Because Juicy was the addition, and usually, well, maybe not usually is the wrong word, but sometimes when a player comes into a team and the team does worse, like you guys did this split, the player who came in is then the first on the chopping blocks, is like, well, obviously that wasn't the right player. But you've stuck with Juicy. What do you think about Juicy moving forward, and Juicy with you and now Cash? What does he bring to the team, and what do you like about playing with him?
I mean, it's a completely new experience playing with someone like that. I mean, he hasn't really proved himself anywhere else, and this is a really good chance for him. And I mean, I don't know, it's different playing with a player who doesn't have the same like experience and maybe shows like more individual skill than they do experience. I played with a lot of experienced players now, and there's some things that he struggles with that players that I'm used to playing with don't. But then there's also like glimpses of stuff that I've never seen before. Um, I think if he can, I don't know, build himself up and play how I know he can, uh, we can compete at the top. It just depends on all of us and just, I don't know, everyone on the team stepping up. And I know he knows he needs to step up. I know that me and Cash need to step up, but I don't think it's like impossible. I think talent wise and I mean skill wise, he's not below all the other players at the top of EU. It's just a thing of building up experience, and with me and Cash, I don't know, meshing well together.
The one thing I do want to see Juicy level up in, because obviously you've been really active in the middle of all this Twitter beef. Cash has been, he's roasting Astral for some reason, then deleting the tweet like after this weekend. Juicy's kind of silent on the timeline. We need to see more tweets from Juicy. We need to see him like instigating with all the other French players. He's the French player in the team. Obviously that counts for something. But yeah, not enough tweets from Juicy. Where the people don't really know him very well, and I think that's a shame. Because I think he's a
Step
good
up.
player as well. Yeah,
I
get
mean,
on the timeline, Juicy. What
I
what
mean,
advice have you got there, Joyo?
I mean, I can't lie. It's probably good that he's staying silent right now because every other French player at the top is beating him every single time and doing better than us. So probably not the best thing to speak up now. But I mean, I don't know. He doesn't tweet much. He's pretty silent. Maybe when the time comes, he'll start talking. But I mean, us and him don't really have much to say right now.
He should
We're
just go the
sort
Turbo
of pushing for the
Pulsar route
top.
and instigate. He should just go full instigation mode. Like Turbo is replying to all of the Twitter beef this weekend saying, "Oh yeah, you should have seen what this guy was telling me in DMs. You would not believe it." I don't personally agree with it, but he was saying all kinds of things about you. That could be Juicy's role. Maybe not
Ooh.
like so much of a
Third party.
yeah, not so much of like a versus, but yeah, instigating role. Maybe that could be a Maybe that could be something you could look into. To really quickly bounce back to the Twitter the tweets after day one that we didn't cover.
Before you go there, Johnny, before you go there, just really
Okay.
quick,
Yeah.
we had a big man question in the Patreon about, I guess, the Astral pickup. So, and you sort of alluded to it,
Oh,
Joyo.
okay.
You mentioned, the change and stuff, but one of our big men, shout out Jacob, not Lid, was just asking about the cash pickup for Astral. Was it more for that mentality change? Do you see this new team with a higher skill ceiling, and if not skill ceiling, maybe a better overall team / results than what you had previously with Astral?
I think that last split, me, Juicy, and Astral were in a very similar position to like there was a lot of parallels of us and Furio in NA, where they picked up Lost, who was pretty, he was proven in his region and he had some good results here and there, but it was a lot of talent and not much. I don't know. They didn't show themselves as a team, and I think that my team was similar, where you look at it on paper and our teams are as talented as some of the top teams, but we just never won when it mattered. And I think Cash, someone who I'm like close with, for me as well, where I can see eye to eye with him, and I mean, I can, talk to him like he's my like close friend. I think it brings more to like a team. I guess it does deal with the mentality. I guess it's just like comfortability and working together as a team. I think our ceiling of Astral and our ceiling with Cash are both similar. And I mean,
Okay.
Astral peaking on his day is the best player in the world, and that's been shown. But I think with Cash, our ceiling as a team, or our floor, I guess, our floor as a team is a lot higher, and our ceiling is a similar level. So I think it helps a lot.
Bang. There you go, Johnny. Continue.
Oh, that was a really helpful tangent. I was thinking, brilliant. I'm just going to go find the tweet so I can read it. But did Atomic delete all of his tweets? Because I swear Atomic had some beef
Atomic
with Atomic
did delete his tweets, yeah.
Oh my goodness, he deleted them, so I can't find them because they're gone. But yeah, so Acronic and Atomic were also at it in a totally different chain, not instigated by Rise, at least not directly. Maybe he's pulling the strings
It's
behind
not
the
always
scenes.
me.
Yeah,
No,
but yeah.
it's not always me.
So Atomic, G1 Atomic, eliminated after day one. They picked up Oli for this split, and Acronic was criticizing them for that move, saying, "What are you doing? You just benched Mark after the best result you've ever had as a squad." Is that punching them while they're down? Is that kicking them while they're down? I feel like that wasn't the only one that we had going at Atomic, wasn't Mark? Yeah, Mark as well. You know, a lot of us were expecting a Mark by 8 tweet about the G1 fail after
We got something, right?
Yeah, we did,
yeah.
but not directly. We didn't get the Mike Wazowski tweet we were expecting. We just got a reply, a simple reply, Mark, kind of saying whatever. He explained it as the fact that he tweeted the original, Mike Wazowski tweet when BDS had an unexpected result. He didn't do it this time because it was an expected result. So,
Good.
didn't feel appropriate. I mean, that is number one roast of the weekend for me. Mark absolutely burned G1 for benching him, but yeah, it doesn't seem like anyone in the there weren't a lot of pros coming to the aid of G1 there saying I think the benching was fine. Everybody seemed to be.
I don't think
quite
many
upset about
players are gonna chime in there and be like, "Yeah, you actually should have been benched, buddy."
Yeah.
From what Atomic was implying in his conversation with Acronic, there was something that went on like behind the scenes. He said something like, "You don't know what happens behind closed doors. DM me," and then he deleted it. But I heard Atomic was like implying something. I don't know what's happened in their team, but
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
to be
a
fair,
classic. It was a classic. You don't know the full information, which is true. Only the team knows.
to be fair as well, in my opinion, I do think that replacing Mark for Oli makes sense. To me, it makes sense. I don't think it's like 100% a good idea, but I think that like I understand what they were going for. I don't know if
Yeah,
I would have done
Oli
it,
is
but I
like
know
a
what they were
better
going
individual.
for.
Like I'd say
Yeah.
Oli's a better Rocket League player than Mark right now, but yeah, they took a while to really figure out how to play together as a team on G1. They were improving, they were steadily improving, and they definitely had like a high peak, low floor kind of team. So they had promise, but maybe they were just going for the quick fix, spring split change that seemed to work for a lot of EU teams last season. So far it hasn't worked, but I mean it's double elimination. They're still in a decent seeding position. They're not in dire straits yet. They're okay.
mean,
They just
I
can't have
think-
another bad result. They need to do well this time.
Going into the split, like EU's leveled up quite a bit, I think. Compared to like the last two splits, where like no disrespect to the teams, but if you put G1 in like old G1, because I think G1 have like maybe not improved as like a team, but as like individuals, they've improved. Like you were saying, I think Oldie's a better overall player than Mark, at least at the minute. But I think they have probably like upgraded on paper, but like EU's just got a lot better.
I also think that if G1 with Mark played the same series, they played Vitality, and then in the lowest Tundra, they still 100% could have lost to the exact same player.
They probably would have lost.
They probably
like-
would have done the same thing.
They made the major and went out 16th. They literally came last in their group. I
They
don't
might
know.
fancy themselves against Tundra. Like that's probably the one they're well annoyed about because they probably should be winning that because they
That's
beat
a close
Tundra to
matchup, yeah.
qualify. But yeah,
Well, that's still
it
not
is
like
close.
it's a major
close.
contention, but it's not like I don't know. It's not like a what's it called? A guaranteed major spot. They're kind of like fighting in and around, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean they all tie broke for the major, like G1, Tundra, and Quadrant, all three of them. So yeah, G1 they beat them the last time they played, but they're definitely like in a coin flip kind of matchup there. But then yeah, they changed to Oli get swept, so they're not going to feel too good about that. But yeah, okay, really briefly, PSG Tundra. A couple of questions for the panel here. Is that the worst branding decision ever? Because they couldn't come up with a logo, so they've gone with 2 logos. I don't know if Rizzo can get this one up on screen
I feel like
for you guys, but I'll take a screenshot.
Let's see if production can cook.
It just sounds like you're mentioning 2 teams whenever you say their name. You know what I mean? Like PSG and Tundra.
PSGT is pretty cool, like the anagram, acronym. Wait, acronym. For some reason I think it's acronym. PSGT. They're just like PSGT now, so that's all right. I don't mind that. But look at this. Instead of like making an amalgamation of the logos, they've just put them both together with a line in the middle, which is so ridiculous. It's just tiny on every overlay. It's so small, like at the top of the scoreboard. It's just like 2 tiny little dots. I don't know what
I remember I was doing a viewing party and I actually brought that up too, because I'm surprised you even brought it up here, but yeah, I think it's horrible. Like I brought it up on stream and most of my chat thought it was horrible as well. It doesn't make sense to do that, even like branding wise, and let alone like it just looks terrible.
Yeah, clearly they had a long discussion about this. They couldn't reach the conclusion. They're like, let's just draw a line in the middle. It'll be fine.
I've just taken the PSG logo.
Oh, but yeah, I guess Tundra wanted their brand. They're like, actually, we spent a lot of money on this logo. This costs like 10K, so let's just keep it.
Well, the surprising part is it wasn't like they came to a deal and they figured out whose brand was being used. It was more so like, yeah, we're actually going 50-50, so let's just use both. That's the bigger surprise to me, because I mean, usually one brand is going to take priority with that, but I guess they just didn't figure that part out.
Yeah, very interesting.
Does PSG have the money, but they just don't want to do any of the effort, like of hiring people and stuff? So they just like tag their name on, but Tundra still runs everything. Is that how this works? Because D-Rex said that they have the same thing with Dota 2. They got another org they're partnered with. So they just like go, hey, we'll give you money, you just keep doing your thing, but we want the naming rights or half of it.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, surely this is a work in progress. That's got to be like the first draft. But not talking to talk about the actual team. Talk Ivan Catalysm. They've stuck. They barely missed a major this last time. EU's leveled up. Have they leveled up? They just finished in 7th, 8th position.
Mm-hmm.
Are they in the running here, or is EU just too stacked now? Moise and Hogan Mode tied 5th, 6th. You got Sa in the mix. You got G1 down there. Oxygen down there as well. Maybe making a comeback later. Monkeys even could make a run. Are PSG Tundra in the mix for you guys?
Definitely in the mix.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I don't want to like. Obviously, it's been one regional, but I don't want to like say the top 4 is like solidified, because I don't think it is. I think I don't know if you guys have like seen the bracket coming up. Because I've seen I'm only saying that because I've seen people be like, this is clearly the top 4 in EU, blah blah blah, and I don't think that it's definitely solidified. Especially with like the bracket of this regional, which is going to be
I saw that.
Very interesting to see. I'll send it in here quickly. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
But like saying that the top 4 in EU solidified, it doesn't mean they're gonna get top 4 every regional. At least in my opinion. Like
I don't even think it's possible. I don't even think the top 4, like in quotation marks that people have been saying, is possible.
If they all go according to seeding, it's not possible. But if somebody slips up and ends up on the other side of the bracket, we could get the same top 4 again. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
I just sent it in. If you want to show that on the.
Is this next EU bracket?
Yeah.
I suppose now is a good time for it, because we're not going to talk about EU later. So yeah, that's probably a good.
Oh boy.
It's very stacked on the bottom end. Bottom half of the bracket looks really stacked. This is again,
bottom.
if everything goes according to seeding, if the first round matches all go in the favor of the upper seed, the bottom half of the bracket is pretty
BDS
stacked.
Vitality round 2.
BDS Vitality round 2.
Moist Liquid as well.
Madness.
On the team.
Cut me up, Buttercup. My question with this then, obviously tough bracket, but with the top 4, as Johnny said, it's people saying the most stacked ever. Is there a world, and Joey, you might be biased with this, is there a world where anyone outside the top 4 of this regional could possibly win one of the last 2 regionals?
Hogan Mode.
I think that my team could have made a final this regional. I mean, I think we could have got a lot deeper into the tournament. I mean, we showed it. We went 3-0 against Liquid. I'm confident in my team. I think there's a chance that we can go and win another regional, and I think there is a few teams where on their day, like I think if G1 on their day to start peaking, and then every other team looks a bit slow or a bit like not in the series, I don't know. I think if like bracket is awkward, and then also a team like us or G1, maybe another team or two like Tundra and Oxygen
Hogan
perform
mode.
really well on. Yeah, Hogan mode, sure.
Bro.
If there's
Bro,
Bro.
if a lot of the top teams aren't showing up on that day, and then a team like my team, G1, a peak in Oxygen, a peak in Tundra, a peak in Hogan mode, show up on
Yes.
that day, they could make a final. And I mean, when there's a bracket reset as well, like it's such a good thing to make it to a final through uppers. And I think there's a chance. I don't think there's a world where there's no world where it doesn't happen, where another team outside the top 4 make it and win.
Mm.
But I do
Mm.
think that most likely the top 4 will continue to win. This top 4 has been solidified this regional. There is probably a decent chance that they keep winning, but I don't think
No,
it's
but you
impossible.
give yourself I think you're right to give yourself some credit though,
Yeah.
Joyo, because it wasn't just top 4. Like top 4 obviously got talked about a lot because that was a whole day for top 4 in this format. But where I also heard a lot of discussion about, EU fans are really happy with the projected top 5, and you guys are the 5th team in that. So everybody's like, finally, no Mickey team from EU. Although I think there's been a couple of regionals in the open era that there's been no Mickey teams qualifying from EU. Sometimes there's one from like EU or NA.
There's always been one. Like, I don't know about what's it called? Fall, like the one before
first
we
one?
made our first major. Yeah. I don't know what was it.
You had
Semper,
Vitality
Dig?
and Semper in that one.
Oh,
and
Vitality, where it was K-Dop, Fairy, Alpha,
yeah, there was kind of a big 3 in that one: Endpoint, Dig, and BDS.
BDS. Then
And the
in
next
EU,
one, the next
for the
one,
second
EG
one,
made it.
EG, we were just like, yeah.
But actually, the next one, Endpoint made it, and they were the worst team in EU, and they'd just come, I think, 3rd, losing game 7s to the top 2 teams. So no, I think that was the first time EU looked pretty solid. Spring last year, so maybe it's going to be a repeat this year, spring.
Endpoint
we get all
did
good
get
teams.
absolutely destroyed though, and so did BDS.
They
in that
did. It
tournament.
was sad.
Yeah, BDS
they
0
were
again.
so promising in their last event. They're like, oh my goodness, Endpoint are good. Archie's like finally coming together in this team. But then yeah, they didn't show up in the major. Didn't show up for the rest of the season.
No.
But okay, I just a couple things. I've noticed we've got like a little bit of real estate being shared in the bottom right of the screen there. Am I seeing this right? Has Dark Horse like stolen?
We've got a few large men. We've got
Wait.
Scripps and
Yep.
Dark Horse coming in. joining
Scripps
the
as
crew,
well.
so-
What is going on? Joe is getting scammed right now.
I'm
but
gonna need a percentage of those Patreon subscriptions, Johnny.
You are. It's a shame we actually spent every penny on sponsoring. I forgot what their team name was at the time. But basically we wasted every
Gaming
penny.
James
Oh.
Cheese. Yeah, we
James
spent all
Cheese.
the money
Yeah,
there.
we took an advance. We took out a loan for that.
Speaking of percentages
We
of
made no money
royalties,
at all.
Joyo also wanted royalties of Brogan mold, even though we get zero payment for adding that meme
Nothing
into
for
the
that as
broadcast.
well. Yeah.
I know a lot of the chat wants to talk about the Brogan mode. Joyo, what are your thoughts on the Gold Hunters?
Well, I mean these guys. I've been a day one supporter of these guys. Since they first formed. I mean, I was a person. I'm not gonna say I formed their team, but I told Granny and Rezi to team for quite a long period of time before they decided to. And then I mean the golden boy himself, Carl Robertson, was around as well, and he
The
was interested
golden
in them.
boy.
Bro, Robertson,
Bro.
bro.
We
Yeah, and
Kyle, bro.
it just seemed to all work perfectly. And I mean, I'm really happy to see them succeed. I mean, all the players are my friends. Like, I'm very close with Grali and Rezi, and I've always thought they could do really good. And they have talent. I mean, they've always been like low main event, day 3. Like they've been like popping up around there, but that's about it. But I always knew that they had more to show. And I mean, top 6 or 5th to 6th is such a good result. I mean, they're technically in major contention right now, so I mean, I bet they're over the moon of it. And I mean, I think absolutely everyone deep down, even if they didn't realize it, wanted Scrub to do well again.
I wanted Scrub versus Zen. I thought it would be a really cool story if, everybody's talking about Zen, the most hyped up prodigy of all time, and then Scrub Killer just makes a regional again and beats him. Like, can you imagine? But yeah, we didn't get that because they lost. So, unfortunate.
They gave Carmine a good series. They really did give Carmine a solid series.
They're a good team. They're a good. I feel like
they're
I
a
was
good team.
memeing
They're
them, but
genuinely
they're a
good.
good team.
I felt
Yeah.
like nobody believed me every time I said that in broadcast. I'm like, trust me, they're good, and I could just see chat like, shut up. No, you're lying. I don't believe you. They didn't want to believe that.
No, they're
I am
good.
obviously
I can't
biased.
see,
They were good,
the
though.
SAR series, and they were good. That was a good series. Like I thought it was going to be like a meme. How are these two, not signed teams here, but they're a fantastic team, and I love their logo as well. Someone mentioned they should pull it up. I went to Wikipedia and found it. That is fantastic. That logo, whoever made that,
production-
that is,
production's on it.
That's an Adam Baguette
Production
special,
is on it.
I reckon.
I
That's
think
an Adam
they
Baguette
got
special.
sent it by someone. I think
I'm
Adam
so
showed
sad
it.
that they
Sent
didn't
by
show it
someone.
on the broadcast because I don't know. They were
That
like,
is
"Can we
hilarious.
show this?" It is really good that they're just leaning into the gold memes.
By the way, Adam Baguette deserves props. By the way, Adam Baguette is he's a bit of a behind the scenes man, but
Behind the scenes
that-
merchant, is he?
he's a like coach, mental
Oh, it says,
coach,
"Let's go,
psychologist
bro."
man. He's just a bit of everything for them.
Wait,
I
He's
didn't
like-
see that.
oh my
he's
god,
just
it
a-
does.
I thought it
It
just said
does
it on the
say, "Let's
side,
go-
but it just had
let's
a
go,
let's go, bro. On the
I'm
front.
telling you, bro. I'm telling
And
you,
on
bro.
the other one as well.
Just a little bit lower, and I'm fast
Hey,
all of them,
wait,
bro.
People saying that logo got denied.
It did. It
Why
got
did it get
denied. Yeah.
denied?
It wasn't on the broadcast. I'm so sad it got denied.
You can't put
Why'd
the
they deny
gold
that?
on
I don't know why. I hope they keep submitting it every time. Just like try again. Come on, we're for real.
No, seriously, this is our logo. We're not
No,
joking.
we're not messing about. This is
Because
still our
it's
logo.
too realistic. Oh yeah, all the giant gold bars that say "Let's Go Bro" on the front of them.
Too
Can't be
realistic.
can't be that
No, okay.
realistic.
Wait, they
Wait,
actually
wait,
said it's
wait.
is it something about like defacing like a valuable item or something like that? Can you
To be
like, etch your
fair, it's
name
like
in
the
gold?
it's like the most beautiful. Like it's like got
yeah,
some like
it would look weird.
it's got
Oh,
some like
gold
RTX
is
effects
hard.
on. It's like beautiful.
Gold,
It's
you not
gold
have-
is hard. Gold is
can you
very
not-
difficult to like actually make in a low quality like image. It just looks like puke in a low quality image. So good luck to you with that. Although
you not
puke would
have,
also
like,
be very
pictures?
accurate for Scotland. So
Is that why? Can you not have like pictures of things? Because when you think about it, like no logos are actually just like pictures. It's all
True.
just.
You have to cartoonify. You have to make it like 2D.
Cartoonify
like,
You have to
it,
just
flat.
make it, yeah. You
But
just
it's
have
so
to make it.
nice.
just
It's got
put it in
reflections.
paint and like resize it, and that'll do it for you. You know.
But look
just-
at how beautiful it is. Like the reflections, like everything. It's like it's
Everything.
got RTX effects on. It's like
The-
the most pristine image of all time. It's beautiful.
the subtle "Let's Go, Bro" is phenomenal. I mean, it's just
Let's go.
please,
Omelette.
Psionics, please
give
give us
come
the
on.
logo.
Look
Look
at the
at the
shadow
other
onto the
block,
second
though.
bar. Yeah, look at the shadow onto the
Yeah.
other block of gold that also says "Let's Go, Bro" on it.
It's, I mean, the alternative is literally like a white octane. Come on, why are we
No,
showing
that
white
except
octane
just
versus
like
white
bro.
octane?
It just said bro in like MS Paint. They'd have that, which just looks worse for production. Like, I don't know. I think they should. And they need to resubmit it. Resubmit it. I think they need to think about it again. I don't think they looked
Yeah,
at it.
yeah,
They
Yeah,
just
give
them
him
went,
give
options.
him a second time to
Give-
think
Give
about
them
it.
options. Give them a range of realism. You know, like
Here, you can
proper
choose.
options here. Just anything but the white octane. We need as long as "Let's Go, Bro" is on there in gold, we're gonna be
yeah.
delighted.
Buy
Give
an
it to us.
actual gold bar, take a photo of it, and then submit the other one as well. Because they'll be like, okay, that's fair. It's a little bit less realistic.
I love that. That's a compliment, though. It's too real. Like, well done. Well done to you, Adam Baguette. You've done
I
well.
don't. Did Adam? You didn't make it right. I think I remember seeing a screenshot that someone has sent them it randomly.
Scrub's like, I've got some. I've actually engraved "Let's Go, Bro" in this one. Let's
Yeah,
use
that's
that.
actually that's just an image from Scrub Killer.
French
No, I
fan
didn't
made
make it.
there
A
you
French
go.
fan made it. His name's
Hayes.
Hayes.
Shout
Shout
out.
out Hayes.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Hayes, yeah.
Shout out Hayes. That logo is
That's
actually
awesome.
sick.
Legend, man.
Okay,
Best logo ever.
I want to switch up the topic a little bit, and I know I probably have the worst panel possible to discuss this, but I ended up making a tweet that said after watching EU RLCS this weekend, NA does not even look close to this level. Top team bubble average doesn't matter. There is a visible gap. And I feel like this was the first time where like I'm actually sitting there watching I guess like any region in general, like, you know, I could always look at a region and be like, oh, I think this one's better, whatever, go back and forth. But like, as I was watching EU this weekend and I saw NA the week before, NA actually just looked like a minor region. Like by comparison, it was so like embarrassing, because seeing EU, at least like the top 6 or whatever, it was just like clip after clip after clip. Like Seiko hit like this crazy, insane double. Atoaski going sidewall redirects constantly. Joyo had his psycho like sidewall pass to Cash, and it was actually just clip city. And I had never seen something like that. It was just like a montage for the entire region. And is that like just the EU standard nowadays? Like, when did that happen? Because I feel like I wasn't watching that like a month ago.
I mean, that's kind of what I mean. Like, every EU team has kind of leveled up, and I think like the thing about Liquid trolling scrims or whatever, like, I don't think there's ever been, just based off the top of my head, like, I don't think any. Johnny asked me this in his stream. He was like, "Oh, what teams troll scrims?" And I generally had no answer. Like, no one trolls scrims in EU. Like, everyone just wants to be better than absolutely everyone. And I think everyone's just improving. Like, with Zen coming in, everyone wants to dominate Vitality. Everyone wants to shit on Vitality and be like, look, bro, Zen's not that good. Everyone wants to do that. Like, a pro might, like, pros will lie and be like, oh yeah, we all want Zen to do well. Everyone wants this guy to, like, flop. Like, I'll be real. Everyone wants this guy to flop. Because no one wants to, like, if you ask pros, will Zen be that good? And they're like, maybe not. It's just hope. Like, this guy's going to be insane.
Yeah, they'll always say,
and I don't think...
Can he do it in RLCS, though? That was the thing for a long time.
Can he do it on LAN?
Pick that off.
Yeah, now it'll be, can he do it on LAN? And then it'll be, can he do it at Worlds? And then he'll just keep doing it and doing it.
Yeah.
And
But with this, I'll be like, people, I see some coping mechanisms from some NA fans, like, oh, but EU have no defense. That's why there were so many good clips. It's just like the worst statement ever. I witnessed Alpha 54 Cooks a pinch into Zen redirect, but a Chronic like pre-jumped the redirect like skim. That was in the grand final.
He saved it, yeah. I was devastated. I had sensational in my pocket. I was like, come on.
The defense was ridiculous as well. There was pre-jumps left, right, and center. The goals that didn't go in were nearly as good as the goals that did go in. So, I mean, I think that it's definitely clear, and I love the fact that it's a massive issue right now that how good EU are, because the NA fans are just infighting at the moment. They're fighting with each other. Well, you guys wouldn't say this if Complexity and GG weren't the two top teams. You wouldn't be saying it. It's just because they're not NA.
It's so
they're
annoying.
not one
it's
of
not
us.
a debate. It's just not even a debate anymore. EU, like, people debated it for a while, and people wanted to like argue it back and forth for over a season now. EU's been better than NA for quite a long time. Like, quite a long time, EU has been better than NA. Simple.
People genuinely thought I was just like saying it to annoy teammates, but actually, like, I never really like spoke much about EU being better until I heard all of the NA greater than EU rhetoric based on nothing in the like pandemic. I was like, what is this even based on? I have to counter this. But yeah, I've thought like the winter last season NA was better, but apart from that, EU's like been better. Maybe it's been close a couple times, but I think EU's like been better every region, like, or every split except winter last season.
Well, the thing is, you can go.
Wait. I was gonna say, I'm not sure what Finley thinks about this, but I think if the quality shown in the EU regional, if the teams that like got close to winning or like had good runs, so like I guess you could say the top 5, maybe minus Hogan mode, if they were in the NA regional and playing at that quality, I think that a lot of them would have had a good chance to make the final. And if they were to lose to anyone, it would be Gen G and Complexity, who have players from EU on all the teams.
Wait, sorry, you cut out from just me, but did you say Hogan mode?
Not Hogan mode.
Oh, I'm devastated.
Sadly, no, because Hogan mode would 100% win.
Yes, it would dominate.
There it is.
I think the quality shown.
Jack would be shaking if he's against like Scrub Kill in a final. He'd be like, "Oh no, I can't lose to Scrub."
And I think Go ahead,
Wait,
go
you go,
ahead.
you go.
I was gonna say, like, but the coping as well, like, but the last major grand finals was still EU NA, like it's gone back and forth. EU knocked each other out like it's all about seeding in the majors. You can't just say the top two teams, or the grand final teams were the two best teams, because you had like K Corp, Liquid, Vitality all on the same side of the bracket knocking each other out. So there's still, you could argue that EU had more than, were better than FaZe, like other teams, not just K Corp. So
I think
they're still. It's just coping mechanisms at the moment for NA.
Yeah, for me, like a lot of time, like NA versus EU, whatever. I had some cope. I always said like NA was better. Also, it was a little baity. Like I'm not gonna be like super extremism for no reason, right? I'm gonna be like NA beta just to piss off EU people. That's as simple as that. But at the same time, like yeah, like I would always think that NA and EU is like extremely close, but like what I saw out there, guys. Let me tell you, dude,
Magic bet.
NA needs a miracle. They need
magic bet.
They got 7 weeks. They got 7 weeks or whatever till the major, because if they don't do anything for 7 weeks, they are screwed at the major. Like I've never felt this before. You know what I mean?
There's lost hope.
I think
I've completely lost hope.
I'm pretty sure that Zen.
Sorry,
I think
Joe, yeah.
Zen is literally just. I think Zen is just a cherry on top of EU. I think it's just shown how. Like I think the addition of Zen's actually done quite a lot for EU, and
yeah, for
everyone's
sure. Yeah.
everyone's
The
getting really
motivation.
competitive. And I think now that we also have Zen, who I'm not gonna lie, if you ask people right now who's the best player in the game, you will get more than half of people saying Zen, or like the best individual in the game. Everyone's gonna say Zen. And
I
now
agree.
that he's playing in our region, he just won a regional, so he's showing he can do it in freeze. And then also the teams below him are still teams that can win, and like can win the series against Vitality. It just shows. I think that was the cherry on top to show how much like more dominant EU is.
Yeah, Vatira still has to be best for a while. Like, Zen has to
Yeah.
win for a bit before he passes Vatira, but like if he keeps doing what he's doing, I think he will. I think he's probably the most talented player. So if he just keeps doing what he's doing, I think he'll be the best. But I wanted to explore. So Rizzo, you said that throughout all levels you're just like NA is hopeless, but actually like this is the kind of mentality. Or maybe not mentality, but that's the kind of like hopium like level, like really low hopium level for NA that's led to actually some of NA's biggest results ever. Like season 1 when Kronovi's IBP won.
Oh Jesus, but he's
that
going
was, like-
prehistoric.
Yeah, NA. Well, I'm just saying NA were like not expecting to do anything at that land, really. And then for them to win was like really unexpected, and that's why what made it so special. Cloud9 season 6, same thing. No one expected that. Like the fact it was so unexpected is what made it special. So like this is actually a chance for NA to go for like a big Cinderella run, and I would actually encourage NA fans, instead of trying to like hope like come up with random hopium for no reason. It's actually fine. I don't think it like impacts viewer experience to just admit we're the underdogs and then run with it. That can actually give you your best ever viewing experience when you get like
I
underdog
agree.
wins.
But the thing
Mhm.
for me is that apart from FaZe, the only teams capable of doing that are European or South American. Like
V1, you don't think V1 if they peak can
I
win a
mean,
major?
they need to
Surely
make it
V1,
just
yeah,
got
surely.
like V1 literally just
So
had
did
to-
FaZe. So did FaZe.
Like,
Right.
these
Rizzo's
teams-
in,
These teams are
Rizzo's in the
struggling
bin.
to
He's
make
like,
it. Like
like absolutely in the
if
bin.
V1 played to their potential, yeah. But like
Optic,
they're
no
not looking
shot.
good
like
for
Optic,
major.
Optic only beat
Optic
the
aren't
casters
gonna make
4-0. They're
Feed the
not-
bear.
not
I'm
on that
telling
level.
ya. I'm telling you, they can do it.
CJ, stop with the coke, man. It's
Oh.
over.
When
They
CJ
guys.
talks, I
NA's
listen.
finished,
I listen.
CJ. Give it up.
I said the same thing about Jordan.
Finished. He hasn't even started. He literally just started getting good results.
Feed the bear, feed the bull. It's like if you name yourself like adjective or word animal, CJ is your biggest fan.
What's the point of doubting him? If he's good, then it proves CJ gets proved right, and if he does bad, then no one will
Don't
be
doubt
like,
him.
oh wow, yeah, you don't have to doubt him.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not going to be proven
be fair,
wrong.
though,
he's
like,
gonna pop off.
I'm not
If he
saying
did,
I'm not
though-
saying the bear. I'm saying the whole region.
Yeah, that's true. The region's in the bin.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know. It's they could. We could just say the same thing about France. Everyone's saying how good France is right now. Remember when all of a sudden there was no French players making lands? like
No.
last season?
No.
No.
No. So that was
Didn't
was
we
actually
like
have
this.
this
you-
top four?
No,
Nah, there was
CJ.
like 3 French players that made it, but they all got like top 4 or something.
They all
it was
did
like
really
well.
well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Now,
that's
this-
what happened. I
this
remember there was
happened
like
this
more
weekend.
OCE players.
France had 9 players in the last EU regional this weekend, and I think the UK had 21. But then 7 of those French players made top 4, and like
They just
UK
peaked.
had like 3. Like all the UK players just got eliminated, and France players were just advancing, winning. It was crazy. Like
ridiculous.
initially,
me and
UK was
Austin.
winning, and then France, especially if you include like players who speak French. Like we're not even including Itachi and Atto who speak French, and Rise who speaks Franglish. Like
Yeah.
if from just speaking French is such a buff. It's crazy.
You said, Joe, that Zen was a cherry on top of the region. You know when you pick up and actually you guys might not know this because you're all mechanical, but when you pick up a new player and they're young and mechy, it like brings you up. Like okay, I need to start hitting triple flip resets. I need to start learning mech. Do you think that like Zen's done that for the entire region? Like everyone's just had to elevate themselves because he's coming in and.
I think he's definitely setting a bar. I think he's definitely
Yeah.
setting a to be fair, I think this regional, Zen's teammates played amazing as well. Like I think Zen had a few like rough series, and that's expected of a new player. I think Alpha and Rado really shined a lot of moments. I think Alpha played really, really good this regional. I think
He was
Rado
the best
played
player this
very
regional,
good.
yeah. But
Yeah.
Zen was the best player in the grand final, but Alpha for the whole regional was the best player. He was crazy.
Zen, especially with Alpha, and I mean even Rado is like he's a mechanical player. I
He's
mean
a
that whole
beast. He's a
team,
beast. Yeah.
that whole team will set a bar individually, like especially just because of Alpha and Zen.
hmm
They will set a bar that I don't know if it will have to be met. I don't know how consistent they'll be yet. No one will know yet, but I think that they could set a bar really high for EU.
It's not fair. Zen's never lost an event. He's played 3 like events. He won them all. Like he won
He
Steel
hasn't
Series,
he hasn't
Gamers
lost a
8,
game.
and now
He
he's
hasn't.
he's just winning.
I mean,
It's so
Zen right
unfair.
now hasn't lost a game in a main event. He's literally won a
Yeah.
regional without losing a game, or a series, not a game.
Yeah, he
But-
perfected the regional, and then before that, he won both of the like pre-regional events as well. Like also without losing a series. So this is some mad streak. He's like, actually, you know what? The 1v1 streak was pretty fun. Let's just run that back. Let's do it again. I don't know. The first team to beat them is going to be special for sure.
One thing that needs to be put to rest straight away, that needs to be put to bed, is the Daniel Zen debate needs to be ended, like insta.
What
I don't
about
wanna
it?
hear it? It's not a debate.
Speak clearly.
There's no debate.
Okay.
Laniel and Zen they're not in the same league. I'm sorry.
Well, it's kind of true. Like Daniel
not kinda true.
he still hasn't won a
spitting the facts.
regional, and Zen just rocks out first event and goes, "Wow, that was easy."
Uh,
Like,
I think okay, the biggest difference for me, and I'm not memeing here, no EU versus NA, nothing. I'm just purely looking at the gameplay. The biggest difference for me is that Zen is way more of a team player than Daniel. Way more. He like didn't try to be
his
the
bumps and
limelight.
stuff are ridiculous.
Zen,
yeah.
like Regional 1, his first RCS event after being banned for a full year. If any player has any
True.
right to try and steal the limelight and be like, now's my time, I've waited for this, it would be Zen. But he didn't do that. He actually like gave his teammates the limelight. He was such a team player, and that impressed me more than any mechanics would. Whereas like Daniel, I feel like a lot of time in the past
Yep.
year when I watched him, I'm like, he's not only like trying to be in the limelight, but he's trying to take it off his teammates as well. I'm like, oh, just let your teammates touch the ball. They've got it. Like they're fine. I feel like Daniel is very, very close to Zen mechanically. But as far as like teammate being a teammate on the pitch goes, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But being on the pitch, like Zen's clear.
It's a great
right now.
point. The
I
amount of
mean-
times Zen would just get a flick, like beat one and then bump the front post guy, or just get a demo
Or
through,
just like low
sweep their
50 the
corner
ball like
boost.
back and be like, yeah, here you go. It's like I'm like,
I
wow.
mean,
I
just
love
think
that.
about how these two regionals, the NA and the EU one, the EU one had people saying this is the best quality regional in ages, and EU are finally back, and it's at the best it's ever been, or at least for a long time, and everyone is talking about how much better it was than NA. And in that NA regional that was being called bad, Daniel got 9th to 12th in it, and in the EU regional it was getting called the best competition in Europe for ages. Zen won, so that's a huge difference.
Yeah, like the results, you can't. I'm not too worried about the results so much. Like if the results were flipped, I wouldn't be like, jumping the gun either way. Just because it's just one event. But I'm like looking at the gameplay though, like it's very clear that the synergy's there for Vitality, it's not there for V1, so they don't have long They have to fix it this time around. Like V1 have to go like crazy, or else it's just over for the
I
split,
mean,
over for
V1
the
needs
season.
They can do.
two
They
top
can do.
threes, I think, to make it, or like a top 3 and a top
If
4.
they get it
and
this time, they
results.
will get it the third time as well, because it's like
Yeah, no,
a
this is their
confidence
make or
thing.
break.
This is it.
If they make it this
Yeah.
time, they'll make they'll make Worlds and Major.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I had this really good thought actually, completely by myself, that NA players seem to play for like what people think about them instead of actually just playing to win. Like they play more to be called like the best than to actually be the best, if that makes sense.
It's like the EU players care more about how good they actually are, but
About
the NA
winning,
players care more
yeah,
about
good they
how
look.
good people think they are.
Yeah, exactly. You
I could
explained
see
it
that.
really well, Johnny. but no, I think it's I think that's the French mentality, which is why I've said about like several players that if they had the same mentality as like the French, they'd be the best player in the world by now. Like I think if these type of players like First Killer, Daniel, if they were French, they'd be like clearly up there with the best of, well, they are up there anyway, but they'd be like doing way better on their teams, you know? If they had that mentality, because obviously looking from the outside, that sounds like a bit of a dumb take, but like the French aren't just the best naturally. Like these guys
It's
just
a
always
mentality,
want
yeah.
to be better than all the other French people. Like
Yeah.
it's actually insane to be like in and around because they're all like friends, but they all like prey on each other's downfall so bad.
You
Like they
know
all like they'll get
All
in
of
a
last
call with each
season,
other.
all of last season, me and Rise with Vatira, like Vatira when we scrimmed BDS, oh no, Endpoint, it was Endpoint and BDS. He always wanted to beat Seiko so bad, like he always wanted to beat him. And
Yeah,
I mean,
the
I
French
guess
Actually,
it's the
guys
same
are
thing.
Vatira is the best example of what you're saying, though, Rise, because he does not give a monkey's what people think about him. Like I even tweeted the other day, like I think it was a couple of weeks ago now. Like I think here's my most talented Rocket League players, pure Rocket League talent, and he was like number 7 or something. He replied to me, ratioed me by a mile, because that's
KC.
what Carbon Corp do. But like he said, like he ratioed me, saying I disagree. I think I'm better than some of these guys you put above me. And then I explained my rationale, and then he just replied to that saying, yeah, all good. At the end of the day, doesn't really he doesn't care what I think, which I really respect a lot, because it's confidence, and it really it shows what the mental is. He doesn't really care what people think. He's just going to go and show that he's the best. That's like the French mentality that kind of bleeds into EU, because everybody in EU is trying to be like the French players and teams. Just like, actually, let's just go and do it on the pitch. Don't care what people say. And I think, yeah, NA could, unironically, I think NA could learn from that. Like, just stop caring what people think. Just try and get the result.
Yeah. I've heard a rumor that Scrub Killer's got more top 8 or something since Daniel became pro or something like that. A stat similar to that anyway.
Wait, hold on.
I've heard that.
Wait,
Stat. I don't know if it's true.
D-Rex.
Direct.
Scrub Killer has more top 6s in 2023 or something. It's something like that
Is it?
as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah.
That's also a very cherry
Scrub
picked
has more.
stat, but that makes sense.
This year, Scrub has more top 6s
Okay,
than
that is
Daniel.
very cherry picked then. If I thought the stat was like since he started playing, if not, then I apologize. That's pointless stats on me.
No, that's a good start. Scrub Killer top 1. He's
That
going
is a
back
good
to top
start.
4 next regional.
D-Rex here, he says, okay, specifically Scrub has more top 6s than Daniel in
Oh,
2023.
okay. Then
That's
top 6
actually
is like
kind of
one
crazy,
format.
though. Dana's more
not
Dana's
really.
more 5th, 6th, or 5th to 8th, but no, I didn't actually I didn't realize Dan hadn't made a top 6. That's mental. It's actually kind of ridiculous.
Okay, we're talking about results quite a bit. We're gonna get into like our last little piece here. Fellas, hey, we need some we need some NA predictions. I would say probably Genji and Complexity are a lock for the major. I don't know if anybody disagrees with that, but we're mainly looking for your other 3 here, Joyo and Rise. Who you guys think is gonna do it in NA? I mean, you got Optic in 3rd, SSG in 4th, and then I mean you got V1, Energy and FaZe in the gutter.
Okay, so for me, obviously, I've got Complexity and Genji basically locked in. Like, I don't see the teams around them being good enough to catch them. I think they're kind of like a league above the rest of the teams. So, I have my major prediction. Clip it up, ship it, whatever. If like this is my final thoughts. I'm not going to answer any question on my top 5. I'm just going to reference this exact moment. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Fair enough.
All
We
right.
got Complexity, Gen G. Okay. We got Complexity and Gen G at top 1 and 2. Then coming in at number 3 in that number 3 spot. But this is so difficult. This is so difficult, bro.
I don't even know who's like good. I literally don't even know who's good.
Well, not many people because it's North America. So we've got those two. I want to go Optic, but I am a doubter. Like, CJ, I know that's gonna anger you.
I
Bro,
don't
it just
like
feeds
hearing
the
it.
bear. It feeds the bear, bro. It just feeds the bear.
I
You
think-
don't hear
I
that.
Does,
think
it does. It pokes the bear as well. It pokes him, which is important.
I'm a bit of an Optic doubter, to be honest.
You
still-
lost
they've-
the 60 seconds for the clip, by the way.
I did lose the 6 seconds. All right, I'm gonna repeat it. I'm not gonna repeat it. Clip it up, boys. We got. All right, I'm just gonna say it. Complexity, Gen G, Optic. Even though I do doubt it, FaZe are too good to miss out on major, and Fury or G2 or SSG. I'm just going for the storyline that
Ooh.
Arsenal and Rettles make it and Daniel don't, because that'd be funny.
Oh.
I'm not a Daniel hater, by the way. It comes across as I'm like hating on Daniel. Daniel's like the greatest kid ever, but it'd just be funny.
That is great for a storyline.
Just
But
be
just-
fun.
Remember what you were
It would
talking
just
about
be funny, wouldn't it?
preying
It
on
would
their
be funny.
downfall? It's literally you and Daniel.
I'm
Oh,
not praying on his
no.
downfall. I want to see them there. I want to see you on there, but it would be funny.
Okay, Joyo, what's your 5?
Well, let me mix it up now because Finley said exactly what I was gonna say pretty much. So I had a few that I think could make it, but I was probably gonna say what he said. I'll go Complexity, Gen G. I think Optic are at like 2. Obviously, there's still 2 regionals left, but I think 20 points is a really good start, and I think that Optic can do good enough to like even hold on to maybe just even a 5th spot. I think that Optic will still make it. But then I also think FaZe will make it. Same reason as Finley, because they're too good not to make it. But then instead of SSG, even though I would have probably predicted them, I think G2 off of pure aura will make it over them then. I'll put G2 on pure aura, because if they make it, they'll just get some aura wins and get some top 4s in this.
Aura.
Yeah,
T-
yeah.
T- T-Bates is like, lurking right now, I bet, and he just jumped out of his chair, did a lap around his bedroom from that call from Joyo there. So good job, Joyo. You made at least one person happy, probably more than one person happy with that prediction.
Yeah, so that's my 5. I think
Who did you say
SSG or
again?
G2. I put Complexity, Gen G, Optic, FaZe, G2, and then I was gonna say SSG over G2, but you also said SSG over G2, so I'm gonna go G2 off of pure
But
aura.
neither of you are Furia believers.
Nah, not really.
I'm not a Furia doubter, but I'm not a Furia believer.
Yeah,
I'm
I think they'll get like 6th or 7th.
You're just
I
a
just don't
nothing.
think they'll.
You just
I'm
feel
so
nothing.
yeah
The-
PR.
on
I'm
You
the-
just
think
on the
Furia?
PR.
Nothing.
Yeah, I can't take a side. I'm on the fence all the time.
I just don't think they're that like major. I don't think they're a major team as it stands. To be honest, I think Yan and Lost are too similar.
I don't
And
like
they don't
talking about
really know
Furia.
Oh yeah, well after Worlds.
No. I think Furia have the quality to just. I think I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up, checked the regional the day before, and Furia won the next regional. I wouldn't be surprised,
Mm.
but I also
But you
think
also you
You
wouldn't be
would, yeah,
surprised
you
if they
would,
came
yeah,
last.
you would. You would be surprised if Furia won the regional.
true.
That's cap.
Maybe a final. I think a final I wouldn't be surprised by. Like a final, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if Furia upset like Gen G, but I would be surprised if they went like that deep in a tournament. They're that type of team where they have like upset potential, but I don't see them carrying it over a whole event, if you know what I mean. Like over a whole weekend, I can't see Furia being top 2.
I can see them making a final. I do think that winning is a bit ahead of myself, though. I think that's right. I probably would be surprised if a win. I think a final would make sense, though, like a lower bracket final, and they just don't get the bracket reset or something. But Fury are a weird one because they have a lot of talent, but they keep falling when it matters the most. So I'm not really sure.
Fair predictions for the boys.
Except for this weekend, because I think Fury are going to get the job done. They'll be in their top 4. Then you got the Bear. Then you got the Bull. There's your 3. Then you got the 4.
The king, the bull, the bear.
You got the King, the Bull, the Bear. That's going to be your top three. That's going to be your top three this weekend. You just wait and see. The King's going to get the job done. Fury out of nowhere are just going to win the regional. All right, they're going to win the regional this weekend. I'm on them. Dignitas.
I wouldn't mind it.
Dignitas, grow up. Grow up. Firstly, grow up. All right. And then number 4, I'm going to put. I think V1 bounce back. I think we're going to put V1 in there. And then at number
That's fair.
5, Gen G. And then FaZe will just be behind them in 6. But well,
I just
didn't put-
can't
didn't
see
say
FaZe
G2 either.
missing a major. I just can't
Surely
see it.
Yeah.
World.
Even
Surely
like
not.
they can't go from top 2 major to then not make it. But if like that's the thing, if anyone can, FaZe can. Like I feel like
FaZe can. The FaZe
if
class.
anyone can, FaZe can, bro. Like they would be the one team that I would say can be like that kind of up and down, because it solely depends on how First Killer's feeling.
Mm.
They'll
I feel
show
like-
up.
I feel like Mist's
regional
been
3.
underrated there. What a player he was this split. Or last split, sorry. Mist was
Who?
so good last split. Mist last split. I think I was
He
under
was
Value and
last
Mist.
play. He was sick.
Under Value
Yeah.
and Mist. He was so good last split.
All right, one final question that I just saw in chat. If Energy made it, would you guys shit your pants?
I would be so happy if NRG make it. I would be so happy.
I would
Great
be,
question, Rizzo.
I would be ecstatic and shit
I'm
my
so-
pants.
I'd
glad
be
you
happy.
read
I'd be
that.
happy for them, but they can barely make the regionals now. So.
Oh no! Don't do this.
But
made
yeah,
it,
but you
okay?
just have
They
to come.
made it.
You have to come to terms with it, though. They literally nearly missed the regional. We should be talking about them making all the regionals now.
But that means
is
that
fair.
doesn't that mean that they make the invitational because they've done it? They've at least
They have.
made
They
this.
have.
So that
for
means
this
that
season,
for
they've
at
made every
least-
main event.
Okay, so for at least like another, what is it? 6. I don't know when the new season. What were we looking at? May 5 months. Yeah, Garrett's good for a while. He's made every regional for a while. We're good. I'm happy about that.
The sad thing about NRG is that I think I probably came on this podcast in episode about 5 and said that these guys need a change, and it's now episode 39. It's been about 2 years.
2
I've
years.
gone from child to boy, and they've insisted
Child
on
to
staying
boy.
the same. And they just need to, bro. A change needs to be made. How many times? Grady Reigns, you're probably watching this. No, you're not. But
Great.
Grady, you're sat in that castle, bro. The king needs to make some choices. The Hot Pockets castle, bro. Throw them in the moat. Get some new boys in, please.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Right, just sticking his claim in that spot.
Oh my god.
You just keep digging. I feel like you're already just this
man.
hole is so
I'm not
big,
digging.
but you just
I'm begging. I'm not digging, TJ. I'm not digging. I'm pleading. I'm on my knees begging. Please.
He's already dug his hole. Now he's in the hole begging.
Bro, we all want to see NRG back, bro. No one wants to see them in
Yeah, we
close
do.
qualifiers. It's sad.
It's sad, yeah.
It is sad, it is sad.
It's weird to pity NRG. You shouldn't pity NRG, but it's to the point where you kind of have to. Like, I just don't get it. Like, if I was in their position, I wouldn't go into a regional thinking like this is the bounce back, because it's been like 8 regionals now and it still hasn't happened. Like, you know the picture of the Gucci bag. It's like, just give it up, bro. It's over.
I think like the thing
Was
with
that
them is,
NRG?
you know, they
Yeah, well,
Garrett
they-
talks
they-
about like they see glimpses, right? But the problem is now the level is so good that, like you said, Joy, with your new team, like your floor has to be so high, and their floor, even if they
necessary.
put in good performances, like they're just gonna put in that one bad one that'll mean they'll come 12th still. You know, they might have a good performance, they might upset a top team, but I don't think consistently they can do it now anymore. Well, they haven't been able to do it for a while.
Okay, Joyo just sent me the context to this Gucci bag. I had no idea what he was talking about. Just let it go, bro. It's over. If you're an audio listener, you have to hop on the video just to see. it.
I can't
Just hanging by a thread.
this. Oh,
Anyway, we'll say, look, fuck, we could talk about
why
NRG
are
all
we
day.
ending
but-
on this?
We
Why are we
can't-
ending
no,
on this note? It's such a shame.
Let me end on this. I've got a few cool Patreon questions. I just want some one-word answers from you two to finish up. All right, just some questions
What, me and Joe?
specifically related to you guys. One word answers, please.
Right.
Oh, here we go.
Firstly, if you guys were moist back in the day, beat Furia at Worlds in top 8, do you go all the way? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
That's no doubt in my mind.
That's more than
100%.
one word.
That
Sorry.
was. That
I'm
was-
kidding, that's
I literally just need a yes or no. All right, pineapple on pizza.
Hell no.
Nope.
Joy, a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy beans on toast?
7.
Ooh. And lastly, this is actually a banging question. Who is the anti-Magic Bear? Who's the worst player in scrims compared to RLCS performances?
I'm probably up there.
I was gonna say him.
Probably up there. I'm
That's
probably up there,
good.
to be fair.
That's
Maybe a chronic.
I don't know.
There's some players who look like they've got a few. Sorry, this isn't one word, but there's a few players that look like they've not got. They look like they look a bit uncomfortable in a scrim for some reason, and then they literally turn into like flawless players in tournaments. I don't know, like when I hit the ball to the backboard in a scrim, sometimes against you, Finley. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of trusting you to miss it, but then when it's in RCS, you hit them all the time. And it's the same with like a chronic. Like sometimes in scrims, a chronic will try something that literally makes no sense, and he'll just miss the ball because he's just trying stuff because he's confident.
Well, that's
But
moist
then-
in scrims, and as me and Oski have clearly made very clear, you guys are you don't play the same in tournaments. You're not the same team. You're a scrim team.
Cash
do it in
is also
RLCS.
sick in scrims, to be fair. Cash is nuts.
Cash is
I don't know
sick
if he still
everywhere.
is.
He's him.
He's him.
Champions Field. It goes a bit awry.
Just you wait,
I
bro.
saw
Just wait. Just wait. Just wait.
I keep
it's
trying to
better- it's
I
better,
keep-
bro.
I keep trying to end this on a positive note, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
always
what I'm thinking.
like
It's
boom,
always-
it's
fine,
just
it's fine.
another jab.
It's like,
No,
let
it's
me not
fine.
just jab, let me absolutely knock someone else out. Like, real
When the
quick.
lights
are
Let me
brightest, bro.
absolutely
It's
lap
fine.
someone for the
My-
final
no.
word.
My chest is here. Hit me. Like it's fine. You'll see. It's pending. It's coming soon. You'll just see. You'll see.
It's been pending since Matane and Taz, bro. When the lights are brightest.
Oh.
Just wait and see, bro. It's
I'm
the
waiting,
cannon. It's
I've
the
been
cannon. You'll
waiting.
see, bro. You'll see.
Good, I'm glad. I hope I do.
All right, we'll all see. I'm just gonna call it there. We will all see.
Ivan better not be talking about scrims. Oh hell no, I'm not having that. I see you in the chat, Ivan. We all know what roster you're a part of, mate. We haven't forgot. We haven't forgotten. We see you.
Oh my god. This is going off the rails. This is going off the rails. You guys are all shooting scrims.
all right, you guys.
I can't speak because Tundra like 7 odors today.
Oh,
Big
there's a
surprise.
surprise, mate.
Big surprise.
Take it
Big
to Twitter.
surprise.
Or a trophy.
Oh,
Right.
The scrim trophy.
See everyone on Twitter. We'll continue this.
Right,
Yeah.
we'll continue this on
You
Twitter.
guys can continue
Enjoy,
your
everybody.
conversation on Twitter. That's going to wrap up jog number 39. Shout out to all of our patrons if you guys haven't checked it out. There'll be a link in chat and in the description. Thank you to Joyo and Rise for joining us today, and thank you to CJ and Johnny for co-hosting. Also, thank you to Rise for hitting the intro and co-hosting as well. Appreciate that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you missed any of it, it'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And we appreciate you guys, and goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.